Yeah, sure. My name is Aaron, and I run Sun and Sage Ethical Vegan Clothing, which is a UK-based clothing business, as you can probably tell, all about veganism. But it really links to supporting animals here, especially the street animals in Bali, making sure that I can give them medication and save them from a poor life. So my idea is to bring everything full circle, and when somebody buys a product, to know firstly how the product's made and that they're made in an ethical way, and secondly knowing that you don't have to just buy like high street clothing to really do a good thing. You can buy clothing that also represents what you're about, while it also helps to rescue animals in Bali too. So that's the idea of my parents taught me that when you see an animal, you should care for the animal, and that's really made up a big part of who I am today. And I got thinking about food processes and how animals are used in food, and when I really started researching it, I realized that that was also something that I needed to put into practice with my life, knowing that I could eat and be healthy and happy without causing animals to suffer. So that was a big part of who I am, and a big part of why I wanted to create Sun and Sage, to really try and promote not just what I am, but the whole reasoning behind veganism. And hopefully people will start to see things like rescuing animals it's actually caring for animals is actually the same thing as being vegan, and down to what you eat and what you do in life. Even though I was 10 or 11 years old, I could not believe that an animal had died for my food, because my parents always taught me to love animals. And then there was this whole like eureka or epiphany moment when as an 11-year-old I found out that animals were being killed for me to eat because of what my teacher told me. And as a child, and I think many children, if we really showed them how animals are treated in our food systems, children might be, they're a lot more innocent, and they probably change their minds a lot quicker than perhaps adults do. So obviously I was shocked, and when I found out that I could just eat without causing as much harm to an animal, then yeah, why don't I do that? And that's what I did when I was 10 years old. So I'm not all about just you must go vegan or anything like that. It's more, I'm trying to live so that everything I do leaves a positive impact on the planet, from my day job to what I do in my spare time with my ethical clothing business, but also in my day job working with charities to give a little bit back to Bali as well, and make sure that children have access to education, especially children from poor backgrounds. They get stuck in this cycle where if their parents can't afford to send them to school, they end up dropping out of school, and then they end up having to do what their parents did, and they have very limited options in life. So yeah, that's been my journey, and it's been an exciting. Coming to Bali was this big eye-opener for me, where I was able to change how I live a little bit with my work and my spare time, to try and become a better person for the animals and for the planet, and like I say, for future generations, because I look at what's going on in the world sometimes, and it worries me, and then I think I can't take the weight of world issues on my shoulders, but what I can do is make my own choices and hope that maybe that helps inspire friends, family, or anybody out there to make positive actions in their life, to hopefully give them a more fulfilled life, but equally as important, to help lower their impact, or even increase their impact. But I'd like to grow the business as much as I can Um, and hopefully that can bring an income to me and my wife, and hopefully it can also give people out there a bit of inspiration about, if you are in a country and you see animals who are suffering, it's not that difficult really to stop and help them. If you've got some food and a bit of medicine, you stopping and doing that, even if it's just a bit of food, is better than driving past them and saying, "Isn't that sad?" So there's all sorts of goals, really, and it probably isn't the best business planning goal, but I'd really like to, if all I can do with this is to help get people thinking about things like veganism and being kind to animals, then it's mission accomplished, really. So you were saying, can people live a healthy life? I've been doing it for 15 years now, and I feel fantastic every day. And that doesn't mean that you can just sort of go vegan and eat vegan burgers and fried food every day. You will be unhealthy if you do that. But you certainly, if you research it a little bit, you can get all of the nutrition you need. And if you do a bit of research online, you can see some of the studies out there which show that a vegan diet is suitable for all stages of life, especially if you really look into nutrition a little bit more. So, I don't think protein deficiency is really a problem in the world when you consider things like malnutrition. And you can boil it down to a few other things. When you start thinking about malnutrition, you start thinking about the area of land that's needed to feed one cow. You could feed a lot of humans from that same area of land, more than one cow, that's for sure. So when you start researching it, you start noticing all these things, and you think, how can this be true and it not be a major issue in the world? Like, for me, in a world that's running out of fresh water, feeding so much water to breeding cows into the world, and then feeding so much water to them, and then chopping a rainforest down to put the cow there, just seems like there's an easy solution there. We can just cut out the middleman, or cut out the middle cow, and eat the grain directly, and then there's much lower impact. So I eat a lot of course, living in Bali, I eat a lot of rice, and I try and keep it with whole grains. So that's like brown, red rice instead of white rice, which is more processed. So you lose a lot of nutrients. That's just one small example of one of the switches you can make to any diet to have a little bit more nutrients in your diet. So I make sure I try and get a lot of pulses and vegetables and fruits, and mixing all of those up. Of course, tempeh and tofu is Indonesia's national dish, so have a good amount of them, and yeah, it's got me feeling good and healthy and happy, and knowing that I can do this and live a happy life. As an extra benefit, I'm not hurting any animals, and